generations. Completely absent from what he has been saying on every network, and he's the doc that every network has on, has been no preparation details, no specifics. What about closing our schools? What about kisses do? What about an employee that doesn't feel comfortable coming into her job as a cashier? These are the specifics where we need specific plans and we need to do something. And it's been me, we're going to our kids' swim meet in 3 weeks. Well, guess what? We're about to experience the greatest pandemic of the generation since polio. Get prepared. We've got to raise awareness, and that's what I'm concerned about. We still don't have awareness out there.
Mayor de Blasio, New York City, declaring a state of emergency this evening, saying, quote, "We're getting into a situation where the only analogy is war," saying he foresees a situation where, among other things, hospitals are setting up tents.
March 13th, right around midnight start. Now, around 2 a.m. Okay. God bless the world. Tough times, yes. No sports. Sorry to be facetious.
It into a COVID ICU, and this is the second block out of 3 in my hospital. So now we have a general ICU that is clean with no COVID patient.
In Illinois at the College of DuPage, and that was closed. I thought since there's a gaping hole without sports and a lot of other things going on, that I would throw out some of the rants that would have been read this evening after the show. And for the folks who are sitting here behind me, and God, are they having fun. Whew. Alrighty, I'm going to go ahead with this. And this is from Tom Sullivan. What the fuck am I doing risking infection in a mass gathering to see your show in Glen Helen on Saturday?
Then it reached in the area around Milan was really hit very hard the healthcare system. So many hospitals are nearly collapsing. And
when does the Lewis Black hand sanitizer come out? You know, Tom, I wish I'd fucking thought of that. It should be 11 o'clock at night, but it's not. I'm not a morning person. Stop bothering me, Tom. This is from P.C. Schmidt. Dear Lewis, welcome to Illinois. Did you know we have recreational pot now?
Is even worse. So this situation changed completely our lives in little more than 1 week. We are working very hard with extraordinary efforts in order to increase our ICU capacity, and we are not sure that will be enough. So my suggestion is that you get prepared as soon as you can, because once you start admitting severe ICU patients, it's probably too late.
Here's a message for all those recreational users. Breathe in deep and know you brought so much goddamn pot. People are suffering. What the fuck is going on with toilet paper? Is there a new black market? I work inside a Target at the CVS.
Yeah, on that note, Marco, with the measures that have been taken in Italy, almost complete lockdown, like you say, you don't expect that to have a huge effect for you over the next 9 or 10 days?
We all hope that we'll see those effects in little more than 1 week.
2020.
Grocery stores. Tonight, as coronavirus fears grow in this national emergency, so do the lines at the grocery store. As shoppers rush to this Costco near Las Vegas, hundreds waited outside to stock up on supplies. At this New York grocery store, customers stood for 2 hours to check out. Aisles usually chock full of toilet paper, paper towels, cold medicines, even pasta. Now lay bare with nothing left. Grocery stores are trying to keep up with demand. Kroger, the largest chain in the country, says it's working to restock shelves while rationing some items so everyone can have access to the items they need. Target, Walmart, and Costco imposing similar rules. And starting Sunday, some retailers opening up their parking lots for drive-through coronavirus testing.
Get to orbit, unfortunately. So it's the only way. But with cars, there's definitely a better way with electric cars. And to generate the energy, do so with photovoltaics, because we've got a giant thermonuclear reactor in the sky called the sun. It's great. It shows up every day. Very reliable. So if you can generate energy from solar panels stored with batteries, you can have energy 24 hours a day.
Means that if possible, you should not go out even to buy food or essentials other than for exercise, and in that case, at a safe distance from others.
All this until I actually see it, then I'll believe it. And so right now, if I had to guess or speculate, I think, all signs are pointing to Tampa Bay, but I wouldn't count out Oakland and John Gruden making that push to try to get him.
Control. You have to actually have some semblance of a plan. And simply saying, well, we're not going to sweep people from these encampments and put them in the system because we want to pursue politically, ideologically driven policy prescriptions.
Northern parts of the world tend to have a lot of hydropower as well. But anyway, all fossil fuel powered things have an inherent subsidy, which is their consumption of the carbon capacity of the atmosphere.
Remember, we have a homelessness situation that the city council and this mayor pretends is a direct result almost solely on affordable housing. They blame waiting to address the actual underlying causes so you can pass affordable housing policies. That's probably.
I mean that. I tried to use Amazon as much as I dislike them, but they're not the cause of this.
Why should electric vehicles have a subsidy? But they're not taking into account that all fossil fuel burning vehicles fundamentally are subsidized by the environmental cost to Earth.
Out of copy.
on Sunday morning, March 15th, 2029. Stressed out, like everybody else, probably.
We know he's got good legs, Nicola Ede. He was in the breakaway yesterday, moving into the lead for the King of the Mountains classification. He's had
It's the time for everyone to stop non-essential contact with others.
The situation in Canada is changing quickly. Here's what we can tell you. As of right now, there are more than 410 cases across the country.
Wants a stage win. He will get back in contact. At the rate that he is going, the team car will come back up alongside him.
Prime of his career, who's under salary control for 3 more seasons. The Cardinals' offense looks really good right now.
Tell you what, Kyler Murray's a happy man. I mean, that's a good...
A big chain ring attack by Quintana. It has blown the race to pieces. Bardet has been dropped. Nairo Quintana, though, going out the winner of the stage.
Illness. There will also be increased signage at all points of entry.
And he's pretty happy with the new environment that he's in. Certainly looks a lot happier than he has been over the last 18 months or so.
Weapon now outside of number 1 weapon. Deshaun Watson's not a happy man. What's he got? He's got banged up Fuller.
Will Fuller.
Steps to secure the border. Ottawa is barring most foreigners except Americans from entering Canada, and only 4 Canadian airports will be allowed to accept international flights.
And for example, by limiting international flights to our 4 main airports, it allows for the concentration and efficient use of our limited resources. As we will identify ill passengers before they arrive, they'll be met at the gate by border security officers.
Just hope that our country's in a position where we can do that. But one thing to point out, they do have to work with the Players Association to extend the league year past June 30th. The players all got their paychecks yesterday, and they will likely be paid the balance of their this year's contracts. But the Players Association has indicated they are willing to extend the schedule.
Over 70s and pregnant women were urged to be extra vigilant.
Infections and pregnancy are not a good combination in general, and that is why we've taken the very precautionary measure whilst we try and find out more.
Scouts, they were supposed to travel around, some of them have their top 30 visits with teams. What do you stress to those guys now that gyms are closing, now that they can't go to facilities and meet with these teams face to face?
We will see a significant reduction in those traveling to Canada, and therefore a reduction in those who need to be processed. Assure them, as our work proceeds forward, we will do what is necessary to keep Canadians safe, and we will ensure that all of our measures are measured and based upon the best scientific and expert advice provided by our public health authorities.
I want you to talk about the vaccine file today and whether the timetable for vaccine is it possible to accelerate it or still 12 to 18 months?
Be 2 to 3 months, and if we did that, that would be the fastest we've ever gone from obtaining the sequence to being able to do a phase 1 trial.
People have talked about for years going to the NFL model of moving the draft behind free agency because everything is blown up this year. You could run a pilot program this year. The NBA could look a lot different a year from now. And
they feel, listening to what I've just said, that there is something excessive about these measures. But I have to say, I believe they are overwhelmingly worth it.
As part of the new restrictions, the Prime Minister says any Canadians who are abroad and have COVID-19 symptoms will not be allowed to board flights home. He's urging people to do their part to help slow the spread.
You've just arrived, you must self-isolate for 14 days. And finally, all Canadians, as much as possible, should stay home.
Situation in the U.S. and Europe is escalating. We'll get to that in just a moment.
March 16, 2020.
Or at the very least, could he become a franchise quarterback? So,
Organization called for stronger measures than the UK.
It's important for the young and healthy people to understand that while they may experience milder symptoms, they can easily spread this virus, and they will spread it indeed, putting countless others in harm's way. We especially worry about our senior citizens. The other, equally, if not more important, is when you have infection in your own country, which we do, and I can read the numbers, but they're really essentially what we've seen yesterday, incremental increases both globally as well.
All young women who are bright and hardworking, and I will tell you what I told to them. They are the core group that will stop this virus.
Distancing, as in social distancing. As in, do you understand what that actually is? That means please watch and listen to nothing personal.
As co-chair of the committee, I would like to begin by thanking all of our colleagues for their extraordinary efforts over the last few weeks to meet the challenge of this extraordinary health crisis and security crisis and economic crisis. I would also like to thank our territorial and provincial partners and mayors who are working with us to
of federal government. We have stockpiles now, and we're ordering tremendous numbers of ventilators here.
then you have to talk about his ability to run around and extend plays. In college at Mizzou, Drew Lock's teams were often not as talented as their opponents. And I believe that at times in college, Drew felt pressure to make a big play to help his team. I call it hero ball.
March 16th, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Trump live on TV.
I think I can say that very, very strongly. Thank you all very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
President Trump holding a lengthy news conference with an update on where we are with the fight against the coronavirus. The government essentially publishing a set of new guidelines. Many have already been surpassed by some things we've seen on the state and local level. Perhaps the only major difference is now a suggestion that people not gather in groups larger than 10, and that's certainly consistent again with some other things we've seen happening around the country. As the president was talking, the market was in free fall. Almost the moment the president began speaking, we began watching. It was already a bad day.
He did, making it the single largest coin drop in history.
Look to me like Trump is taking this more seriously than he ever has. If Trump is worried, then we should be taking this seriously. The good news is
things he needs to get better at by dealing with snow. But from a physical standpoint, he's more than capable of playing the quarterback position in the snowy, windy game.
If everyone makes this change or these critical changes and sacrifices now, we will rally together as one nation.
He feels nothing, like the chorus line. I felt nothing. He feels nothing. That's bad. That means he would have been out and about were it not for his self-quarantine.
Do whatever it takes, we're doing. We're doing it in every way. And with that, I'd like to just introduce Dr. Birx, who's going to discuss some of the things that we strongly recommend. Thank you.
Cities like New York have begun to shut everything down. Restaurants are closed. You can order food and you can pick up food in New York, but you can't go to the restaurant.
No matter who you are, please stay home. If someone in your household is diagnosed with this virus, the entire household should quarantine in the house to
remember to order. It supports people who work at the restaurants. It supports the people who deliver the food, tip them well. And for those people who are like, oh, I can't stay home, I'm going crazy and I need human contact. Yeah, we spend most of our time on our phones anyway. So let's just do more of that.
Mr. President, one of the big
Pachuno. C'est Pachuno. C'est vrai, n'est-ce pas?
To relevancy, obviously, with the Super Bowl 50 appearance, that 15-1 season in 2015, that MVP season of his where he garnered 48 of the 50 possible MVP votes.
Former second-round pick and Raiders franchise quarterback Derek Carr, Mariota, the number one ranked quarterback on Raiders GM Mike Mayock's draft board when he
picked up last year. Dak said, I ain't made $5 million in NFL salary yet, and you want me to give you a discount. Let me get this one big payday first.
But again, it is not a surprise to the news of the day that Cam will not ultimately be the Carolina Panthers quarterback.
Smart, hard to leave friends, hard to leave family. Tom Brady is family to me. It's all set up. But there were signs. I mean, we said, listen, he put his house up for sale. His trainer put his house up for sale. Am I surprised? Yeah. Shocked?
We're obviously on the podcast big Derek Carr fans, but you got to worry a little bit about what might happen here if Mariota comes in and takes his job.
Shocked is seeing O.J. Simpson in a Bronco on the 405 with cops in front of him and behind him. That's shocking, okay? Shocking. I'm not shocked much in sports.
But JLC says the deal is being finalized. It would take Phillip Rivers to Indianapolis to take over for Jacoby Brissett, who got apparently just one season there at Indianapolis to try to be the starter.
How long this could go, continuity for me is king right now in terms of projecting into the future. The Tennessee Titans obviously are going to have that continuity.
All these things are disappearing from hospitals.
The White House asking construction companies to donate their industrial masks to local
from the country. Today, Beijing announced it's revoking the press credentials for reporters from the biggest American newspapers. They don't want us to see what they're doing there. And at the same time, they're threatening us. One state-backed media outlet explained that China may cut off our supply of pharmaceuticals that would kill Americans.
We're hanging in here. Randy, one thing, we've been talking about a lot of possibilities where Tom could be ending up. But which destination do you think he has the best shot of winning another Super Bowl and could become like Peyton Manning, the only
Ryan Tannehill, hey, this is your backup. Don't worry about it. He's not going to play. All of a sudden, Mariota on the bench, Tannehill's taking the AFC title game, which I'm sure John Gruden would love if Mariota led the Las Vegas Raiders to the AFC title game.
That Kevin Durant, in fact, is one of the Nets players that has been tested positive for the coronavirus. This news coming from The Athletic.
We probably don't expect him to win the job if there's any sort of competition. So Derek Carr will go into the season as a starter, but if he starts to struggle in week 3, 4, or 5 like Mariota did in Tennessee last year.
I do not want to see him with a pirate flag on his helmet wearing orange.
Quarantine, we are going to get through this. The news coming down earlier today, not that long ago, that 4 players for the Nets did in fact test away. The very last team the Nets played was the Lakers. It goes on to say they were closely working with state and local health authorities on reporting all the team
is expected to be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. Now, there is no signing plan right now, no press conference plan. A lot of people have been wondering if this would come up on the first day of the league year. What we do know is that Tom Brady is expected to be in Tampa with the Buccaneers. And it looks like a process, and Cam Newton going into the final year of his deal with his injured history with a rebuild underway, it didn't make a lot of sense for either side to continue this marriage. And so that is one bananas here very soon. Once the Tom Brady domino falls, not at all going to be surprised to see Cam Newton going to a team outside of course, the Carolina Panthers.
February, actually, the Tampa Bay Bucs were lurking in the background, recognizing through back channels that maybe Tom Brady was more serious about free agency than they initially.
I want to see Kobe drop 60, drop the mic. I want to see Elway. I don't want to see the Johnny Unitas thing. I don't want to see wobbling over to a franchise that's the second.
March 18th.
So if you haven't got the lyrics to this up on screen, I suggest you do, because you'll be in for a
Tonight, the death toll mounting in the U.S., now at least 100 dead, as the number of cases of coronavirus tops 5,800. And of course, authorities do believe that number is likely far higher given the testing in this country behind. And tonight, as so many families wonder where the next paycheck is coming from, how to pay for groceries for weeks, the White House now hoping to send families in this country a check.
Clear. But some of us can't see it. Amazingly, our ruling class is taking China's side. And that, again, is the good news about a crisis. It clarifies things. You can see exactly what side people are on.
I mean, when you put a fifth-year running back, now I will tell you this,
We just had
some
an
of the
earthquake.
running game has come back in this league in recent years, especially last year, but the fault of us as players.
We just had an earthquake.
We
Holy
let it
fuck.
happen. Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of it has to do with the rules as well. I mean, and trying to make it a safer game.
So it's Wednesday morning. Let's see what time it is. A little bit before 8 o'clock. So about 30 minutes ago, like I just exclaimed, there was an earthquake in Salt Lake. I had just recorded the last little piece that of YouTube, you know, kind of doing my daily headlines or whatever, just sound bites for my YouTube videos. I just pressed pause and sitting here looking for more material or just, you know, starting my morning. I had just woken up and then that earthquake happened, and there was a few guys in the building here at Downtown Music, kind of all huddled outside and thought of what could have happened. This is a 3-story building. I'm on the top floor, which I guess is good in a sense, but at the same time totally scary. So weird times, man. That's all I can say.
Families warning residents to prepare for a possible order to shelter in place, as even though a decision has not yet been made by the city or by the state, I think New Yorkers should be prepared right now for the possibility of a shelter in place order.